far go to the end with this first section, and we'll start with Guy and Paul.
Thank you. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Paul.
Brendan, have you any fresh injury concerns or absentees ahead of the trip to London?
No, nothing new. So everyone okay to be in the squad?
I think the heat wave will continue to be sort of mid-30s by kick-off time on Saturday at the Emirates. How do you expect that to impact on the game, if any?
Well, it does. Obviously, the heat will always have a bearing on the intensity of the game, and of course the importance of looking after the ball is very important as well. So yeah, we've obviously been training in it. So the players have worked so well this week in having a real intensity in the training. But of course, over the course of 90 minutes, it does have an impact. But like I said, you got to deal with these situations when they arise.
On individual players, I know the Chelsea interest in Wesley Fofana doesn't seem to be going away. I'm just wondering, what have you said to him about that, and how's he responding about kind of just having that focus on Leicester at the moment?
Well, I think the message to all the squad is that, because it's not just the players that the speculation around it, it can affect the whole group if you don't manage it. So the message is very much just keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your focus on your football. It's notoriously a time of the year when we know there's lots of speculation and gossip around. But it's something that I haven't seen so much in the group. The squad have very much trained at a really, really good level. The intensity been really good, and everyone focused on doing their best in the games for Leicester City. So it hasn't been too difficult for Wesley himself. He's a young guy. He's a very talented player. I communicate openly with him, and he knows our thoughts on him and the clubs.
What's your gut feeling as of today? Do you think he will still be with you beyond the deadline?
I don't think about it.
And regarding incomings, I know you've spoken in the past about it was going to be a difficult window. Is that still the case, or could a big sale open up possibilities for you?
No, still it's going to be one where the club will need to look to try and move on some players, and then see what that releases. There's no guarantees for us at this stage, but yeah, once anything happens, then of course the club will let me know. But in the meantime, my focus is purely with the players that's here, really, and if something happens later down the line, then we'll address it then.
What comparisons can be made to Arsenal from last season and what they've done maybe in pre-season and last week in their first game against Crystal Palace?
For me, Arsenal have gone to a new level. The three boys that have come into the team. Saliba was a very gifted young player that played alongside Wesley at St Etienne, but of course needed some game experience. Difficult when Arsenal signed him to play him because he was so young, but he went away and played for 2 or 3 years. Has got really good experience, and you see now him coming back at 21. He's 6'4". He's quick. He can dominate in the ball. So he's a fantastic addition for them and gives them that presence at the back. The two other guys coming in from Manchester City have made a huge difference. There's absolutely no question. They're coming from an elite, world-class, winning environment, and you see the mentality. And Gabriel Jesus, he's a world-class striker, and you just see how he goes about his work, his focus, his hunger, his desire, and his quality. And when you have someone like that in the building, that really can elevate other players to a different level. And Zinchenko is a player that can play at a couple of positions to the very highest level. You see him at full-back when he moves inside, and you see him play for Ukraine when he plays as a centre midfield player. So I think those players have really given the squad the confidence, and has given Mikel the tools to play probably how he really wants to play. And they've had a good pre-season and obviously started well against Crystal Palace. Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, Rob, PLP.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Rob.
A few days on from the Brentford game, there was a lot that you said you liked. obviously half an hour that you perhaps didn't. What have you learned a few days on?
I think just looking after the details, that was important for us. We had total comfort in the game at 2-0, and then we just lose a little bit of organisation on a throw-in, and from that results in a goal, and then all of a sudden it gives a little bit of momentum to the other team. So certainly that was one item of the game, and other things that we can analyse and where we can be better in. But like I say, the attitude of the players was first class, and like I say, we wanted to win, we didn't, and things that we have learned we'll take into our next game.
You say you think Arsenal have gone to a new level this season. How do you think Mikel Arteta has been able to achieve that?
We've brought in players that simply has allowed him to do that. I think Mikel will have had a way of which he's wanted to work. He'll have wanted a number 9 that's aggressive, that can threaten the goal, has the confidence, can run in behind, can take the game short. You don't need to convince him to work. He's a natural worker. Gabriel Jesus can play in a couple of positions. So I just think that mentality, him alone, will have helped the squad. Zinchenko coming in understands exactly the role that Mikel will want him to play, where he can play and drift on the inside, can make passes and open up the spaces on the outside for the wingers. And then, like I say, the freshness of a young centre-half coming into the team and hungry to prove himself. So that, along with the work that they've been doing over a few years, bringing in those talents can make a big difference to the squad.
You were the subject of a behind-the-scenes documentary last season. Have you had a chance to watch it? Is that something that you would encourage here?
No, I've never watched it, no.
Not something you would have here, then? Cameras following everything?
Definitely not. If I could had any control over that, definitely not.
You mentioned earlier to Paul about departures. Hamza Choudhury, obviously academy product, has gone to Watford. What would you like to say about him and obviously the transfer and what that does to you guys? Yeah,
well, Hamza, he's gone to a fantastic club with a good manager who's just gone in, and I'm sure he'll do really well. Hamza, in my time here, he's been a really valuable member of our squad. But for him to progress and make the next progression, he needs to play more. And this year, with 1 game a week, it was going to be limited, his time. So, as I said, he had a brilliant attitude every single day in training. Hamza was first class. He was always there for the team, but he needed to play games, and he's got the opportunity now to go to Watford. Like I said, really good manager who'll go in and want to put his mark in the club and the team, and great supporters that will support Hamza whilst he's there. So yes, I think it's a really good move for both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, Owen.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Owen.
I just wondered if I could ask you about Harvey Barnes and whether there was a timescale yet on his knee injury. I know you said it was going to be a few weeks last week, but is there a specific timescale you've got in mind?
Nothing specific. Oh no, he's been with the medical team. Still has an irritation around the knee, so I don't have an exact time on that.
Since we spoke last week, I know you said you have talked to Wesley about what the club feel about him, but from a personal level, have you been able to have a chat with him about why you think it would be best for him to stay at Leicester City this summer rather than looking at moves elsewhere? Yeah,
I think it's another year here, certainly for him at least, would be really important for his development. But Wesley's quite calm and relaxed in the situation. He's aware of the interest. He understands where we are as a club and where we see him. And he's just getting on with his work and training well. And like I said, whenever there's any communication, we're able to have a conversation.
You said that there had been a bid for Wesley, but was nowhere near the valuation. Has there been any fresh offers that had come in?
Not that I'm aware of. There was 2, but again, nowhere near what I think what the club would even think about. I think the point to reiterate is that we're not looking to sell Wesley. That's the key point. He's not a player that is actively we're looking to move on. But naturally, if there's an interest from other clubs, then of course, that is looked at by the club. But no, he's a top young defender, of which there's not too many about at his age. So he's someone that we want to and would love to keep here. But we have to wait and see what develops.
You said you would have an answer for us on the vice captain of the football club after Johnny Evans moved into that captain's role. Is that something that's been discussed, and is there a decision there?
Yeah, we've discussed that. So it's still in a process. So hopefully we'll have that for you in due course.
Okay. Is that something that you discuss with the players, and is it like a group process?
Yeah, with the players, with the staff as well. So I think what was key and important for us was to get a new leader of the team. That was most important. We have some fantastic senior professionals around. Anyway, the likes of Mark Albright and Jamie and those types of players, they're very important players for me here. So they fill that there, but certainly within the coming days we'll have that all organised.
And you said to us that you were supposed to be having a new set piece coach joining the club. I think it was 3 weeks ago, a couple of Mondays ago, so about 5 weeks ago now. But it was visa problems that were causing that. Has he been able to arrive at the club now, or is that something?
Not as of yet. It's we've been given confirmation that the appeal to the FA was successful, so that's really good news, and now we have to wait for the documentation, which hopefully will be at some point next week. So once that is clarified, then we'll let you know.
Are you able to tell us who that is?
Not at this moment in time. Once it's confirmed, then of course we will.
Okay. Final one from me, Brendan, but your squad numbers were announced last week. But there wasn't a squad number for Callum Wright, George Hurst, Lewis Brunn, Daniel Watson, Chitterwan and Josh Apaya. And they all count in the 25 Premier League squad rules as they're over the age of 21. I was wondering, are you looking at including any of those players in your 25-man squad, or are those players who, I know Callum Wright has had a couple of loan spells away, are they players that could be looking at loan spells and won't be included in the squad this year?
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. I've spoken to some of those players, so they know where their situation is at, and for some of them it'll be about getting experience again outside of here, and for others, like I say, we have to assess that.
Brendan, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you. Good man.
Okay, there's nothing else for that section. We'll end the broadcast section there. Thank you to our colleagues, and we'll move to the